All right, so we've received a few questions around travel in WA, especially as a family with somebody who has a disability. And I thought the best way to answer it would be with a video. So as a family, we love travel. It's something that we really pride ourselves on. We do a lot of just seeing WA, seeing the world, and a very important part of our lives. So yeah, I don't know, we'll start with you because as we discovered, you are the organised one out of us.
Yep.
So how do you find travelling and going to new places, different places?
I always do a lot of research before we go anywhere, and I mean, for us the biggest thing is accommodation and finding accessible accommodation. We've stayed in many different types of places. We've stayed in like little motels, we've stayed in hotels, we have stayed in holiday homes, and just searching up to find the right place for our needs. I mean, I do find with the holiday homes, it's usually a little bit more questionable as to if they are actually accessible or not, because when people don't have a disability, they don't understand the needs of somebody who does have a disability. So someone's version of an accessible house can mean, oh yeah, someone in a wheelchair could get in here, like it's pretty flat, or like there's a very small step and that sort of thing, but not understanding the needs of like bathroom requirements and a roll-in, roll-out shower, that sort of thing, which is stuff that we need.
And quite often we spend a fair bit of time looking at photos.
Yes,
so
definitely.
In a lot of places that don't
Photos
have
are fantastic.
that, a lot of places don't have measurements, etc.
Yeah.
We can often guesstimate by looking at the photos.
Yeah, and I mean, it's definitely trial and error. Like every time we go up to Perth these days, we have our hotel that we like to stay in because we know it and we know that it's accessible, and they know us there now, and it just makes it all easier for us.
Yeah, and that loyalty is a massive factor when it comes to accessible tourism. I mean,
yeah.
There can be a lot of stress to actually get ready to go on a trip.
Definitely.
Because it is a lot of work, and you need to make sure that everything's right, everything's good to go. For those that read my blogs, there is some talk in there about a certain trip to Bali that we did and what happened there. So it's very, it can take a lot of energy.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that we don't do it.
Oh no, and like, I mean, I love traveling, and Ben loves traveling, and well, now Logan loves traveling as well. So we make a point of doing it, and even though it is hard and we do have errors that have occurred, we see past it and we get through it. We're also pretty resourceful people, which I think when you are somebody with a disability or a family with a member that has a disability and you're traveling with them, you kind of have to be resourceful. You have to realize that things aren't going to be perfect everywhere you go. And realizing that is a big thing, and just having to move through it. So, I mean, we don't take our ramps or anything like that with us. If there's little steps in houses, I can help Ben get up and down them generally.
If we're staying in a house with multiple floors, then I'm on the bottom floor.
Yeah, we don't do that though, and that's one thing that's amazing about WA, is that most of the houses are just one story, or they're just flat. So
yeah, that's it.
It makes life a lot easier.
And quite often there's enough room in houses to get around because once again we have the room here, so houses tend to be a lot more sprawled out.
Yeah,
which is amazing and is a really good part of travelling here.
Yeah.
I mean, probably the other thing as well would be infrastructure in towns that we go to. It's improving all the time.
Yeah.
As councils refresh pathways, as Australian standards change, it becomes easier and easier.
I think that's one of the great things of travelling within your own state, is that you know that there is the standard, and that most places have to be accessible, have to have an accessible bathroom for restaurants, and have to have accessible parking and all that sort of stuff. So it takes a massive stress away from that, compared to, like Ben mentioned before, travelling to Bali, which is a completely different story.
Finding a toilet that you can fit a wheelchair in Bali but isn't part of a
laughable.
hotel is, Whew, that was interesting.
So yeah, I think, we live in an amazing state and there is so much to see here. The majority of our travels are since we've been married, and especially since Logan has come into our lives, have been going to hotels and stuff.
Yep.
We are starting to get back into camping, which we are doing a camping adventure soon, so we'll take you along on our journey for that and show you guys how we do all of that as well.
So excited.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun. But yeah, like Ben said as well, the different places that we go to, it always depends on where we're going. So we've been to Albany a few times. I love Albany, but it is quite hilly.
Oh yeah.
So it then has its own challenges too. Whereas you go into the city of Perth, which is another place that we love to go to, it's so accessible that Ben can just get around pretty much by yourself, can't you? Like, we love going into Perth and we love the city for that reason of going. It's so easy for us to go there.
Yep.
There's such a choice of restaurants and things to do, and we really enjoy our times up there.
And I mean, on the flip side of the coins, there is places that I would love to go more often, but don't, because it is so much of an effort. And Fremantle to me would be a prime example of that.
Absolutely.
I love Fremantle.
Yeah.
I always have, but the accessibility there is quite far behind the city of Perth.
Yeah.
So
we've always found Fremantle quite difficult to get to, and just even parking and everything. And I am saying this, it's been probably a few years since we've been there.
Yeah.
For that reason of that we don't generally go there because it's hard to get around. Yeah.
I mean, we are stubborn, it won't stop us from trying again.
No, and we love going back there.
Yeah. Okay, so I suppose the next question would be, what would you like it to look like in 10 years' time? What changes would you like to see?
Okay, accommodation-wise, I would love to see standardisation, so that when you book a hotel, they have it on their website that their rooms are accessible, and you're not actually having to ring each hotel and going, what rooms do you have that are available and what is accessible, that they have photos on their website. That would be amazing to actually see it before you go. And the same with holiday homes as well.
So when you say standardised, you mean like standardised around what accessibility means?
Yes.
So that
absolutely.
way, because that's one of the big things at the moment is you find a place, they say they're accessible, and it happens not just accommodation, it happens restaurants and many other attractions, etc. Where you turn up and it's accessible, and what they mean is completely different to what you're imagining.
Yep.
So yeah, standardisation for sure for me as well.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. And then it would be, I'd love to see all of the towns putting effort into making their towns accessible for people with disabilities as well, of making sure that there are really good parking spots and that their restaurants are accessible.
Encouraging businesses to become more accessible.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, a family like us, we love doing it and we're out there all the time. But if we can't get there, then obviously we're not going to spend money there. We're not going to be part of that local town's economy because we can't do it.
Yeah.
So to encourage businesses to do that and to become educated as well.
Oh, definitely. So yeah, I think that's what I'd like to see the future of WA tourism to be. And just make like attractions and all that sort of thing as well. Obviously making them as accessible as possible for people would just be amazing.
I mean, off the top of my head, when I think about attractions that are accessible, and if people want to use the examples or want examples, got the Anzac Museum in Albany.
Oh yeah.
That's amazingly accessible, the museum itself. The surrounding area, not quite so much.
Because it's built on a hill.
Exactly. I was going to say, but that's not entirely their fault. Optus Stadium is another example of...
incredible.
They've done a great job of accessibility there.
They really have, yeah.
So these sort of places are amazing to look at. The Bustleton Foreshore,
Yeah.
they have done a great job of
And they're
doing-
only getting better there at the Bustleton Foreshore as well.
that's
I mean, that's a
right.
place that we visit all the time. It's our local place.
Yeah, exactly.
And the rest of the Southwest as well is doing a really good job with all of that too.
Yeah.
It's, you know, I think of what Dunsborough was 10 years ago to what it is now.
Yeah.
Like they've made the foreshore there so much more accessible for Ben. And just the whole town too has become more accessible, like their footpaths and
Yep. The work they're doing in Margaret River at the moment, I've been keeping an eye on their Main Street redevelopment that they're doing.
yeah.
And the plans that they've got around that are amazing, especially considering what they're dealing with geographically
Yeah.
with the steepness of what's there. That's really encouraging to see.
Well, that'd be good to go and see.
Yeah, it would. I'm really looking forward to that being finished. But I suppose at the end of the day, I just encourage you to get out, anybody to get out and have a look at our state because, you know, the borders are going to be shut for a bit longer.
Yeah.
We are going to be here. It's a perfect opportunity to actually have a look because WA is huge.
Yeah, it is.
You know, and we've got such a large variation in climate and in different places. And at the end of the day, we're all in this together. If I want, you know, wow, it's really cliche, isn't it? Yeah, definitely. But no, it'd be really good to sort of see people getting out and actually seeing WA and
Getting out there, seeing everybody, like just seeing what there is and what is accessible for us. And if you guys have any places that that you're wanting to know specifically about, get in touch.
Yes.
We may have experience in that place. If not, then well, we're always available to help out as well and go, well, look, let's see what we can find together and see what there is out there.
And if you're a
Because it's so
business
important.
or a tourism attraction that wants advice on how to be more accessible, how to be more inclusive around disabilities, get in touch.
Absolutely.
You know, you're not gonna. The improvement's never going to happen unless you ask the question.
Yeah.